What is up guys, you are probably thinking, what the hell is this? So let me bring up a part of the latest House of Wolves video.
You know, it's my first ever use of my Normalize DELCATTIED, and for those of you who don't know, DELCATTIED and Skitty have a signature ability called Normalize, and here it is straight from Bubblepedia itself. Normalize makes all moves used by the Pokemon with this ability act as though they were normal instead of their usual type. So I can go for Toxic because Toxic becomes a normal move, right? Wrong! This really pissed me off because Bastiodon is still immune to Toxic. So is Toxic a normal move or a poison move, even though Steel isn't immune to normal attacks? So thanks for nothing DELCATTIED, you great big waste of space. Either you normalize or you don't, but don't lie to me and pretend you can Toxic anything and then find out you can't, because that is just wrong. If someone could please explain to me how this worked or why that doesn't do it, that would be hugely appreciated, thank you very much.
Alright then, today I'm gonna try to do that. Now here is what Smogon says about Normalize. All attacks used by wielder act as if they are normal type. If the user is normal type, they get stab, and they are always resisted by rock and steel type Pokemon and are ineffective against ghost types. Thunder Wave is the only status move programmed to take immunities into account, hence it is not working on ground types, so a normalized Thunder Wave will not paralyze the ghost types. Now I don't know about you, but that description made me even more confused. If Thunder Wave is the only status move that takes immunities into account, why does it say right after that it can be used for paralyzing ground types? And why doesn't Normalized Toxic work on steel types? Well, after reading about Normalize in a few different sources, I came to the conclusion that there is a typo in the Smogon description where it says that it doesn't work on the ground types. I think that they mean ghost types, because it's the only type immune to normalized moves. In other words, what it should say is, all of the status moves work as normal with the exception of Thunder Wave, which becomes a normal type move and therefore can be used to paralyze ground types, doesn't activate Lightning Rod and Volt Absorb abilities, and doesn't work against ghost types since they are immune to a normal type moves. However, to solve the mystery of Normalize once and for all, I did some tests with Ninja Mudkips. On my side there are two DELCATTIEDs, both with Normalize ability, meanwhile Sam has brought a Steel type, Poison type, Ghost type, Ground type, another ground type with a Lightning Rod ability, and finally a fire type with a Flash Fire ability. So let's find out which is immune to what. Let's start off with Clank. As you all know, it's a Steel type, just like Bastiodon that Mark faced, meaning that it's immune to Poison type moves including Toxic. With Normalized ability, it remains immune to it, meaning that Toxic is not affected by Normalized ability and does not become a normal type move, as opposed to a Thunder Wave, which is the only status move that changed the type to normal, meaning that it can paralyze the ground type such as Sandshrew or Rhydon, and also does not activate Lightning Rod ability. It does no longer work on any ghost type though, and the fact that it's a Golurk is a coincidence. It just happened to be the first ghost type that Sam found in his PC boxes, and ironically, it's not its part ground, but part ghost typing that makes him, and any other ghost types for that matter, immune to a normalized Thunder Wave. You will have to believe me on this one or see for yourself. For the purposes of this test, I also hacked a Will-O-Wisp on this DELCATTIED moveset, although it cannot normally learn it, just to find out whether it is affected by Normalize or not. And as you can see, it does work on Ghost type and does not against Fire type, meaning that it isn't. When it comes to attacks, as Smogon says, Normalize affects all of them and does give a stab to a normal type Pokemon, so Sucker Punch does no longer affect ghost types, but it does give DELCATTIED stab, 80 base power priority, pretty much equivalent of extreme speed. With Toxic remaining a poison type move, we think it might be immune to it, but it is no longer immune to a normal type Earthquake, and normalized electric type attacks hit ground type neutrally and are only resisted by ground and rock types such as Rhydon. Also, attacks from Pokemon with Normalize will not activate any attack absorbing abilities. You might be a bit confused by all of that, but it's quite simple really. Let me conclude what we've learned today. Normalized ability changes the type of all of the attacks to a normal type and gives them the same type attack bonus while used by a normal type Pokemon. Every attack used by Pokemon with Normalized ability is resisted by Rock and Steel types and does not affect Ghost types. In addition, attacks that due to their type would activate opposing Pokemon's abilities, such as Lightning Rod, Flash Fire, Water Absorb or Sap Sipper, will no longer do so when used by Pokemon with Normalize. However, Normalize does not change the type of any status move, with the only exception being Thunder Wave. So although Normalized DELCATTIED is able to paralyze ground types, it still can Toxic, Steel and Poison types. If there will ever be another Pokemon with Normalize ability, unless the Normalize mechanics change, it will not be able to use a Will-O-Wisp against fire types and Pokemon with Flash Fire, Leech Seed the grass types, or Spore/Sleep Powder against Pokemon with Subsipper. In other words, there are only two reasons why would you ever consider running a Normalized Delcattie. One of them, as mentioned by Smogon, is to paralyze ground types if you really want to. The other reason that Smogon doesn't mention is a double stab priority in form of Fake Out and Normalized Sucker Punch, which joined with Silk Scarf does come in handy in Pew and can save you in the tight situations. So I hope that resolves all of the doubts around Normalized ability, but if you have any questions or additional comments, be sure to leave them below, and as always, I see you all next time.